Orrin Ferris, and I was in Peace Corps, Ecuador, with my wife. We were assigned to a relatively distant back jungle village, I think because we were a married couple and could support one another. We were there from 1964 to 1966.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, language is always fun. It's easy to make mistakes. I've got to tell a story about the time that Sharon was having a ladies' meeting, cooking class, I believe it was, in her house. And so I was invited to leave and not be a part of that. So my neighbor next around the corner said, well, you come on over and spend the evening with me, and we'll let the women do their thing. So I left, and as I went into the house, and the wife had not left for the meeting yet, so she was still there. And she said, is the meeting ready to start? And I said, yes, the women are en tiempo, on time, is what I was trying to say. The both of them fell down laughing and rolling on the floor, because instead of on time, it was in time, which meant they were having their period. They didn't really believe that, but it was such a good story. I guess the not so funny part was it took quite a while for them to explain to me what I had done.
My name is Sharon Ferris, and I was with the Peace Corps in Ecuador, South America. We were the third group. My husband and I served together, and we were the third group served from 1964 to 1966. We were asked to go into the Oriente, into a new, fairly new community called Secua, which is located in the province of Morona, Santiago. They really didn't know quite what to do with us. We ended up renting a house that had sat on 4 rocks. It had a front door, a back door, and it had a tile roof over it. Nothing on the end, no running water, no bathroom, but there was an attached kitchen with a thatched roof. So our initial work was mainly to survive, and so my husband did a lot of work. He put in a well, he put in an outhouse, put in windows. We didn't have windows. The little children would peek in between the boards, so we had to put slats to cover that. We did all sorts of things that we could. So that was the beginning of our stay in Secua. I remember one day, a little neighbor girl knocked at the door. She said, would you like to buy some bananas? And I said, oh yes. And she said, sí, quiero comprarlos. And she said, ¿cuántos? And I said, oh, 12, a dozen. And her little eyes got so big, and in the back I could hear some volunteers in the other room just about crying, because I had ordered 12 chickens and I thought I was ordering 12 bananas. So we had lots of fun with things like that. And the señoritas wanted to make a cake. And so I said, okay, we'll make a cake. I said, now sometimes you'll have failures. Sometimes the cake won't raise up, you know. Well, I made the mistake of calling I pronounced cake in Spanish, caque. Well, that is very close to caca. And those little girls, they just laughed and laughed and laughed, and I didn't know what I had done until later, but but we made cakes, and you know what? Sometimes they were very good, and and sometimes they. And my husband Orrin and I returned to our Peace Corps site in Sakua some 36 years. And what a treat. We stayed with our best friends, our best neighbors, and were able to find out about their children who were now doctors and lawyers and musicians. And it was something we wish we'd have done many years before, because we wondered. So much of our lives were in Ecuador, and it was our second country. You know, we felt we had adopted it, but it was great that we could hook up and see. That's kind of my story.
Well, great, thank you.